Hey everyone, today I'll show you how I use makeup to become your favourite 80s computerised creation, Lisa from Weird Science. First of all, I hope you're enjoying the John Hughes vibe with this absolutely amazing royalty-free music. This tutorial will focus on how to make parts of your face bigger or smaller using shadows and highlights, focus on eye shape, brow shape and lip shape. First of all, to prep the skin, I'm using Barry M Lip Scrub and Pore Essential from Benefit. I'm applying the primer to my face first to get it smooth, and then I'm using the lip scrub to get rid of any dead skin cells on my lips. Here is this absolute legend, and what I'll be doing next is focusing on eye shape to make mine look like hers. For eyeshadow, I'm using the Naked palette and Blackout from Urban Decay. So I've opted for a slightly darker eyeshadow. This is because Lisa's eyelid is more sunken in than mine. It creates more contrast with the hood of the eye to give that effect. Kelly LeBrock's lower lids droop down more at the side than mine, and they have more curve to them. So I need to make my eye look bigger here, I need to define here, and the top of my lid looks quite similar. For eyeliner, I'm using Rock & Kohl Eye Cheat from Charlotte Tilbury, a black Kohl liner from Rimmel, and Glam liquid liner from Rimmel. Lisa's upper lash line is very similar to mine, so what I'm doing is I'm just creating a thin line to make it quite uniform so that's not to skew the shape at all. Your upper eyelid may look different to this. If it does, it's the same principle. You would draw the gentle arch shape and then fill in any gaps underneath with the liquid liner. Lisa's eyes droop down more than mine's at the side, so what I'm doing is extending my liquid eyeliner to get that look. If your eyes already have this shape at the edges, then don't you worry about this step, you are sorted. Next, I'm using one of my favourite products. It's Eye Cheat from Charlotte Tilbury. Basically makes your eyes look bigger, but instead of pure white, it matches more of your actual eye colour, so it doesn't look so fake. I'm only applying it to places on the lower lid, where Lisa's eyes are bigger than mine. In this case, it's on the outer edge. I'm now lining underneath the lashes with the Kohl liner. I'm going around the eye cheat that I've already drawn on and bringing it back up to my natural lash line. I prefer to use a Kohl liner for underneath the eye, I just find it's a lot softer looking. Your lower lash line might be completely different from this. If it is, it's just the same principle. You use the eye cheat to make any parts look bigger and use the liner to cheat the shape. I'm now defining the inner corner of my eye. Luckily my shape's similar to Lisa's, so I don't really have to shape them at all. I'm using the Blackout eyeshadow to get more of a depth in the crease of my eye, similar to Lisa's. I'm using the lightest shade from the Naked palette to create a highlight on the hood of my eye. It creates more of a contrast between that and the lower eyelid. I now go over the eyeliner with some dark eyeshadow just to soften the line. For my brows, I'm using one of my favourite products. It's Brow Define in Dark Brown by MUA. I'm using the brush side of the pencil just to neaten up my eyebrows. Lisa's brows are a gentle arch and not too dissimilar to mine. They're slightly thicker as well, so I'll show you how I achieve that. I'm now drawing a line underneath the brows to create a defined shape. The best thing about this pencil is its micro precision, so you can draw little lines upwards that look like hairs. It's perfect to get that 80s look. I used to buy a similar pencil from Clinique. This one's about £14 cheaper. And does the same thing. This brow shape looks okay, I may come back to it later. For foundation, my main aim is to get a nice even base and to minimise any freckles. I'm using L'Oreal Infallible Colour in Porcelain, Can't Stop Won't Stop from NYX in Fair, and Collection Pressed Powder in Ivory. I'm now using a beauty blender just to blend out all the foundation, and now I'm using a powder. The powder's slightly lighter than my foundation, so it matches my skin tone a lot better, plus it sets the foundation. One of the most difficult things to cheat when doing these makeups is face shape. Lisa's jawline is much more square than mine, so I'll highlight this area here to give an illusion that my jaw is bigger. For face contouring, I'm using Kate Moss's Rimmel palette in Coral Glow, NYX Sweet Cheeks in Taupe, and the NYX Wonder Stick in Light. I'm just roughly applying the lighter side of the Wonder Stick as I can blend it later. The lighter you go with your highlighter, the more extreme the look will be. If you just want a subtle effect, you just do a couple of shades lighter than your foundation. I'm using the darker contour to soften my chin. Lisa has a sharp jawline, so I'm also using the Wonder Stick to contour around that area. If I want a harsher contour, I tend to use a cream, but if it's more subtle, I tend to opt for a powder. What I do now is I leave the contour I've done and let it cake on the skin. One thing I need to do for almost every cosplay is try and get these cheekbones to look smaller. Most people would highlight their cheekbones. Me, I have to use this powder. I just apply that all over my cheeks. The taupe powder is perfect for my cool skin tone. If you have a warmer skin tone, you should really choose a warmer contour. I'm now using the Wonder Stick to give a bit of highlight above my brows, just to make them look like they stick out a bit more. I'm also highlighting underneath to make more of that contrast look I was talking about earlier and to give them more definition. To contour my nose like Lisa's, I need to make mine straighter and thinner. I need to make it point up right at the end and also need to make the wings of the nose smaller. I'm contouring the length of my nose with the Wonder Stick just inside the natural line. I'm also creating a ridge right here to make it look like the tip of my nose is pointing a bit more upwards. The tip of Lisa's nose looks a bit wider than mine, so I'm using the Wonder Stick to draw just outside my natural tip. The wings of Lisa's nose are a bit smaller than mine, so I'm using the Wonder Stick to shade that area. Now that the contour cream has adjusted to my temperature, it's much easier to blend, so I'm going back in with my beauty blender. Remember that some of the areas I've put highlights, you might be putting shadows, depends what your cosplay is and what the shape of your face is. While I was blending, I realised I'm not too happy with my eyebrow shape, so I'm going back in and defining it. For this cosplay I've used a pencil, but for other cosplays I might use a brow gel or an eyeshadow depending on the look I'm trying to achieve. I'm much more happy with that, it looks like a stronger brow. Much better! I'm going back in with the NYX powder just to soften all the contouring on my nose. I lost a little bit of the ridge there as well. Sometimes it's good to have a sit back and have a look at what you've done. Silly me, I forgot to highlight my nose, so I'm going back in with the NYX Wonder Stick and I'm highlighting the length of the nose and the tip. I left that for about 5 minutes and now I'm blending it out. Now it looks like my nose is flicking up. Lisa has some colour to her cheeks in a very 80s fashion, so I'm going in with the pink blush from the Rimmel palette. Now is the key to Lisa's look. As you can see, I have quite small lips. Lisa's lips are very big, so I need to exaggerate. Exaggerate is the word here. For lips, I'm using Stay Matte Liquid Lip Colour from Rimmel in Rose and Shine and L'Oreal Lip Liner in Berry Blush. To get Lisa's lips, I need to draw massively outside my own lip line. I also need to make my lips look a bit rounder. I'm doing a shallow cupid's bow because Lisa's is much less defined than mine. My lips curve in at the edges, whereas Lisa's curves out in a rounder shape, so I need to cheat that. I'm trying to be as defined as possible with the pencil, but I can go in later and fix any mistakes. Now I have a very lovely lipstick moustache. Oh, fancy. The bottom lip is even bigger, so I'm starting way outside my own lip line. I'm bringing the pencil out the way and drawing upwards on a steep edge. I'm also drawing it a couple millimetres wider than the length of my mouth. I'm now blending in some of the lip liner. I can now go in with the lip stain and I'm just filling that whole area. It's really important when overdrawing your lips to use a matte lip colour. If you were to use a gloss product, it would highlight the ridges of your mouth and it would look more fake. This product is okay, but I'm currently looking for a product that's a little bit more matte. But overall I am happy with the look. A technique that I really love is to go in with my brow pencil to make my mouth look wider. To do that, I draw 2 horizontal lines at the edge of my mouth. I tend to use my finger to blend it out, but you could use a beauty blender or a makeup brush. You could also angle the line up the way or down the way depending on if the mouth is upturned or downturned. To add shadow and highlight around my lips, I'm using the Naked Skin palette from Urban Decay and the NYX Wonder Stick in Light. As you can see, I love this cool brown shade in the palette, however it's running out. I'm applying a thin line just underneath the middle of the lips I've drawn on. This creates a fake shadow. I'm using the highlighter side of the Wonder Stick to highlight above my lips. This gives the impression that that area is protruding more. I've realised that the chin looks a bit more pointy than what I wanted it to be, so I'm now going in with the contour and just fixing that area. One challenge is with my face is I have this little ridge next to my chin where it dips in, so I use the highlighter just to try and smooth that out a bit so it doesn't look so obvious. I forgot to blend in underneath my chin, so I'm now doing that. I'm also going in with the NYX powder just to soften the contour on that whole area. Sometimes my face can look a little wide, so I'm using the powder just to shade the sides. This gives the impression of the face being thinner. Lisa's chin sticks out a bit, so I'm just using the highlighter on my chin and blending that in. One thing I've noticed that makes a huge difference with my cosplays is when I use fake eyelashes. I bought these ones from Ardell, they're quite natural looking. So here is the final makeup look. I feel like the eyelashes have made a huge difference as well. I'm away to put on my wig now and my costume. And here is Lisa with an awesome 80s wig. She's alive! I love trying to recreate faces, it's a new obsession. Just as a note, I think it's equally as cool to accentuate your own natural features for your cosplay. This is just another art form that I have grown to love and enjoy. I can't get over this music, by the way, it's absolutely making my day. If you've enjoyed this tutorial, I'll link to my social media handles at the end of this video. Thanks for watching and I'll see you at my next tutorial.